Good evening, everyone. Looks like we're going to have an excellent turnout tonight. To get us started, I'd like to welcome you to this year's event. It's called 10 Days of Building a Pathway to Prosperity. It started last Saturday, and we've already created some amazing momentum. My name is Tim Blatt, and I serve on the Hope Builders as board chair. Tonight, I'll act as the MC, leading us through an exciting lineup of speakers, along with a quick update on Hope Builders. Tonight, you'll hear from Daryl Strawberry, Major League Baseball legend, Eddie Lopez, Hope Builders trainee, Shauna Smith, Hope Builders Executive Director, Carlos Gonzalez from Clark Construction and a long-term board member, and then we'll wrap up with a quick Q&A. You'll see a button down at the bottom of your screen and you can enter your questions there. If we're not able to get to all of your questions by the end of our program, we'll be sure to follow up and provide the best answers that we can. Before we jump in with both feet, I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you. Thank you on behalf of the Board of Directors and the Hope Builders team for joining us here tonight. For those of you who are new to Hope Builders is a workforce development agency. We bridge the gap between young adults ages 18 to 28 who are in need of mentorship, life skills, and job training. We bridge that gap between those young adults and employers who need highly skilled workers. Our focus at Hope Builders isn't just about finding them a job. It's about putting them on a career pathway to what we'd like to say prosperity. The good news, we've helped over 6,000 young adults find their pathway. We have 3 training verticals: medical assisting, construction, and behavioral health. 3 areas that are exploding with growth and need skilled workers. This past year's been filled with many challenges and for us some great victories. And we'd like to share some exciting news with you straight out of the Hope Builders classroom. Despite the pandemic, Hope Builders has continued to grow and thrive. Last year, we introduced blended learning, where there's some in-class learning and some at-home programs. Plus, we have expanded our social enterprise operations. The operations are called Hope Builders Career Connections. This past year, Hope Builders enrolled 175 young adults, with 95% of our graduates placed into construction and healthcare jobs. This is an incredible accomplishment, generating nearly $400,000 in ongoing sustainable income for the enterprise. And that is something we want to triple in the next 3 years. To reinforce the impact Hope Builders is having on our young adults, let's review a couple quotes from our graduates. First up is Justine. Her quote was, "I have never felt this motivated to achieve my goals and better myself as a person." From David says, "Hope Builders opened a door for me. I have a chance to grow and actually be somebody." And from Maricela, "I learned so many new skills at Hope Builders. They helped me to realize everything is possible." So now, as I said, we have a very special guest in Daryl Strawberry, who's going to chat with us tonight. I would like to share a few of his statistics for those of you baseball loving fans. In 1983, he was voted Rookie of the Year. In 1988, National League home run leader. 1988, he was also an 8-time All-Star. He was a 4-time World Series champion And he was a nominee for the Hall of Fame in 2004. And I could go on and on and on about his statistics. But many of you may not know this in his list of accomplishments off the field. They include his becoming an ordained minister, founder of Strawberry Ministries, which helps youth overcome abuse, neglect, addictions, and criminal behavior. He's a best-selling author. He serves on the advisory board for SAMHSA, which stands for Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration. And he's also a motivational speaker, and it's why we invited him here tonight. Daryl's story includes a journey from greatness to destruction, and then back again to greatness. Our topic today is focused on unlocking your greatness. At Hope Builders, we believe there's greatness in everyone we meet. And our purpose is to unlock that greatness for each and every one of the young adults we serve. So now he'll share his story that's been anything but conventional. Daryl, please take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Tim. I really appreciate that, introducing me that way and sharing with everybody my wonderful story, because, you know, we all are very unique people and we all have a story. And let me just say thank you to all of you young people who are in Hope Builders. It's a phenomenal program to help you find your greatness in you. Like Tim said before, you know, my story is a story of just so many different things. I didn't grow up, you know, with a silver spoon in my mouth, you know, because everybody would think you grew up that way. I played Major League Baseball for 17 years, but I grew up in a broken home, a dysfunctional home. And, you know, my dad was a raising alcoholic, and, you know, so many different things happened in my life. I didn't know who I was as a kid, you know, from the beatings I had. And I had to experience so much pain as a young man. And you know, for the last time my father came home, I just remember when I was about 14 and pulled out a shotgun and said he was gonna kill the whole family. So what I say, why I'm telling you that is because my pain led me to my greatness, and my greatness would eventually lead me to my destructive behavior. My pain was, you know, because I was broken, led me into the greatness of becoming a Major League Baseball player. I was driven because of the pain that I was in, and it led me to bring out the best of who I was. I think from broken situations, you can bring out the best no matter what, because greatness was created on the inside of every last one of us, no matter where we've been, how far we go down, and what we've been through. People always want to talk about the way I excelled as a great baseball player. Yes, I was very talented, multi-talented. I could do a lot of great things on the baseball field, but also that looked good from the outside. But on the inside, young people, I was completely broken on the inside. And it's not until one get healed on the inside, then you start to be able to discover who you are, and you can have a chance and an opportunity to fulfill the promises over your life, because the promises over your life is far greater than you even understand them. We don't understand them when we're young, and I didn't understand them when I was young. So I go on to play Major League Baseball for about 17 years and do all these great things. But at the same time, I end up broken on the inside because of the rejection from my father. And one thing I always say, my mother raised me right. I'm grateful for that. She raised 5 of us by herself. What a beautiful woman that was able to raise 5 kids by herself and raise us right. So like I said before, the greatness was there. I just didn't know how to really come to meet who I was on the inside. And eventually I would, after many years of struggles and trials and tribulations. As you heard Tim, he kind of talked about all the great things that I'm doing now today, but I have to be able to share the hard things, because the hard things really led me to the great things because of those principles from my mother. See, my mother didn't raise me to be a heathen. I made a choice to live that type of lifestyle because I played Major League Baseball, and all these things were at my fingertips, and they were like giving it to me. Like, you can do whatever you want, you can have whatever you want, and do it any kind of way. But I always tell young people, we can pick our sins, but we can't pick the consequences. The consequences of life are real, and a lot of times we pick into a lot of things, and we have to pay a price for it. And I was no different because I played Major League Baseball and had the great success, the trophies, Rookie of the Year, home run, 3-4-time World Series champ. You know, I did it all, you know, from an athletic standpoint. but who am I as a person? You know, I found myself so broken, I ended up in a Florida State prison because of addiction. And addiction is real. It doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, black or white. It is really real, and it can happen to anybody. And it happened to me. I ended up with a T17169. There I was locked up, and you know, in the midst of my own brokenness of who I was. You know, and it wasn't really till I started to resonate with the greatness that was on the inside of me as a person, because my mother always gave me that affirmation that there is greatness on the inside of you. You just have to find it. And it had nothing to do with baseball. A lot of people thought it really did, but she was talking about as the person. And it was my wife that came along in my life, who's my wife today, Tracy, after being married a couple of times. It's my third marriage, but she would come into my life and she would bring affirmation to me too, that greatness is on the inside of you, and you just have to reach for it. You have to believe it. And I finally came to that place in my life, and I started reaching for it, and I started believing it. And then my life made the turn. You know, I made the turn with the help of other people. That's why a program like this is so encouraging to young people, because it could push you into the next step that you might not think you can get to. And I think that's what it was for me, you know, to be able to get to the next steps. People helping people. My mother had the great influence on my life. My wife had the great influence on my life, and it ended up leading me into my greatness. You talk about going from playing ball, from down into the pit, and then being up again and becoming someone totally different. Not has anything to do with playing professional sports. It has to do with the man that was created inside from the beginning. And it's a place that we all have to find in our life. It's not easy. It's the challenges of life are real. You know, we come from broken situations, a lot of us, and we don't know who we are, and we don't have this great belief system inside of ourselves. And it takes other people to help us, to encourage us. So I'm here to encourage you tonight, to tell you, if you're listening, you're here. There's greatness on the inside of you. You have to come to the place in your life believing that you can fulfill those promises over your life. Listen to me. You're not a mistake. None of us are a mistake. We just make a bunch of mistakes. That's what life brings about, a bunch of mistakes to all of us. The creation for us was good. And we need to know that we are good regardless of what happens in our life. And I think that's what happened to me. For a long time, I thought I was just this terrible person, but I really wasn't. I was just this broken person. And it really wasn't until I stepped in to the greatness of who I was and why I was here. And then I started to make a difference. I think today my life is completely different than what I could ever imagine. To be able to travel this nation and be a speaker, which I consider myself not qualified. I'm a travel evangelist, and you know, I go ministry like 250 times a year. I couldn't have never imagined myself. I could imagine myself hitting home runs, but now can you imagine standing in front of people and doing something that's far greater than you can ever imagine? You can do it. If I did it, every last one of you can do it. The opportunity is going to be there for you. The challenges will always be there. And I always tell people, life is full of storms, okay? Either you're in a storm or you're coming out of a storm and the storm's on the way. But one thing I do know about the storm, we have to go through it. So remember that you have to go through the storm, because if you don't go through the storm and you go underneath, you're dead. Don't quit. You don't give up. You keep fighting no matter what the fight may look like. And those that fight and don't quit win. And I think that's what happened to my life, of not fighting, not giving up, not quitting. There were many times I wanted to quit baseball. When I think about it, when I go back to playing in Lynchburg, Virginia, and you know, I really want to quit baseball because there were a lot of things being said to me, and I was called out of my name, you know, because I was young and I was, you know, African American, and I was supposed to be this great baseball player. And I was only like 18, 19 years old, and people were saying things. And I just remember my manager telling me, don't look up there, because he figured I would probably take my bat up there and probably eliminate some people because I was young. I mean, you could do crazy things, but I never looked up there, and I kept going. And I came close after that year of playing. And I told the organization that I wanted to quit, and they asked me to give it one more year. And I didn't quit. That's the good thing about it. I need to tell that story because I didn't quit. And had I quit, I would have never been 8-time All-Star, 4-time World Series champ. I would have never been able to go forward and achieve all these great things had I quit. And that's the lesson I learned, because one lesson I learned from lifetime was when I was in high school. I quit baseball in the 10th grade, and me and my coach got into it and I quit. And I learned after that, I will never quit again. I think learning experience are real. And when you do truly learn them, you can grow from them. And growing is really a big part of who we are and who we become, and not giving up. And I didn't give up. There were many days I wanted to give up on a lot of things in life. I've had cancer twice, and I lost my left kidney in the second surgery. I ended up losing my mother at the age of 55 from terminal breast cancer. I lost my sister at the age of 51. Here it is today. I sit here with one kidney and alive and well and thriving. So I'm telling you, if I can thrive in life, you can too. You can be thriving in your life. You young people from the age of 18 to 28, that's the best time of your life to keep pursuing your career or what you want to be and how you want to be, because there's more to who you're going to be. I mean, I could never imagine sitting here today, living in St. Louis, been in recovery for a long time. Hear me, I was in the midst of addiction for a long time, been in recovery over 19 years. My wife's been over 21 years. If I can do it from a place of public perception, you can do it. And whatever's holding you back, you can get up. And that's why I'm here tonight, to encourage you about getting up, never giving up, no matter what the circumstances are, because the storms of life are going to be real. And we all face those storms of life. And I just wanted to be a part of this night and say thank you to the sponsors and everyone that participate in programs like this. Programs like this is so dear to my heart, because I love young people, and I want young people to know that greatness is for you. You can achieve, if you can believe it, you can achieve anything. And that is really, really important to understanding for young people to know. If they can just come to the place of believing who you are, not what you do, but who you are. I think a lot of times people think about what we do. If I kept believing in what I was doing as a baseball player, I couldn't have never became a man, because putting on a baseball uniform did not make me a man. It just made me a baseball player. It's once I realized that I had to take that uniform off. Now, who am I? What's my belief system? Where's my faith? What kind of operation system do I have now that I'm going to deal with the life challenges that I'm going to face? Because we're going to all face them, no matter who you are. And you can, if you can just come to a place of believing, you can achieve anything. And I've been able to achieve some great things outside of baseball. Yes, I was very successful playing Major League Baseball, but I had a lot of failures because of the shortcoming, the brokenness of who I was. But I allowed myself to get healed on the inside, not what I look like on the outside. I think a lot of times people reflect on what people look on the outside and have on the outside, but what about the inside? My whole house was burning up on the inside, and it wasn't until I got that healed, and it was through help, people helping people. It was, the encouragement that I got from my mother. And when she passed away, I still could hear her telling me, there's a plan for you. And then my wife, Tracy, coming into my life and being the great leader that she was, a great example of how change can happen, because change happened in her life. And I saw the change in her life, and I wanted what she had. So guess what? I had to do something different to get what she had to get, to get where she was. And that's what we all have to do. We have to do something different. There's nothing wrong with doing something different. Something different is going to challenge us. It's going to stretch us, but it's going to make us better. And I just want to make sure that all of you that are here tonight to know that what's waiting on the other side for you is far greater than what you've been through. And you can achieve anything that you believe. And I just think that it's the most important thing that I need to say to you tonight. You can achieve anything that you believe. I've achieved a lot of things, but I believe more about what I have achieved since far playing baseball in my life was because of the other greatness that I believed inside of myself. So I hope this will help somebody tonight. I hope it will encourage you. I hope it will push you to continue to go forward. Don't keep looking to the left. Don't keep looking to the right. Please don't look back, because there's nothing back there. It's always headed in front of you. Keep moving forward, and your greatness will come to pass.
So, Darryl, I'm ready to go out and run the bases. I'm fired up. So So a couple quick questions for you. So there was this period of raging success, and then there was this dark era, or however you described it, going through the storm, and then there's this other period of amazing success. What was one of your favorite memories on this side, and then maybe one of your favorite memories on this side?
I think the favorite memories I had on the side was coming to the place of believing that I could play Major League Baseball when I was 14 years old. I had a lot of desire. I watched baseball and I loved baseball. And I used to watch the Dodgers and the Cincinnati Reds growing up. And I saw this one player from the Cincinnati Reds, and his name was Pete Rose, and his uniform was always dirty. And I looked at him and I said, now that's a real baseball player. He didn't have all the talent that Johnny Bench and all these other great players, Joe Morgan, was on the team, but his uniform was dirty, and that's what a baseball player uniform is supposed to look like. And he hustled. And so that was on that side. When I saw that, that's when I knew I wanted to be that. I wanted to become that because, I loved baseball and I watched him, and he was an idol, when I was growing up and having a great chance to be able to understand a little bit more how you play the game of baseball because of the way Pete Rose played the game of baseball. And then you go to the other side of this life. This life was a life that would challenge me more as a man. It wouldn't challenge me as an athlete. It would challenge me as a man and the character that needed to be built inside of me, because I think growing up, I missed a lot of that because I didn't have a father in the home. And when you come from a broken home like that, without a male figure in the house, you have a tendency, mom always telling you, mother's going to tell you what's right. It's just a matter of, do you listen? And I used to tell my mother, I got it, mom, but I didn't. And I realized that I needed to become a man to be able to listen to some of the right things and make some of the right decisions and become the man that God had created me to be, with a different character and walk a different way and act a different way. So that's what I see on the other side of that. You get two sides. It's like you're lucky to get really two sides of life, if you get a chance. And that's why I like going back, pouring into young people. I try to get young people to understand is you don't have to make mistakes. You can avoid the mistakes in life at a young age where you don't have to suffer later. See, I had to suffer later because of all my mistakes when I was young. And then I had to pay a price for a lot of those things. And I always try to encourage the young people, you don't have to make those choices. Make the right decisions and you can move forward and you can be happy and you can be successful in anything that you believe in.
Yeah. So how did you, where did you pull from, or what did you pull from during the storm? The thunder, the lightning, and you were such a public figure, right? So you went to the grocery store and they're reporting on that, and then you go over here and they're reporting on that, and so wow, that's love to hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, I really pull, from the principles of who my mother was, because she was a wonderful woman. And why I say principles, because she didn't live in the hype of who I was as a Major League Baseball player. She lived in the fact that you're my son, and I want you to fulfill, the promises over your life as a person, I think, more than anything. And I always knew that. I always knew that my mother was more concerned about me as the person instead of the athlete. And I think so many people were concerned about me with the fame and the fortune and the athletic ability to play ball and do all these wonderful things. And, here it is, you're in the storms of life and you got media circle around you. I mean, I could have went ballistic, but I did not. I think I stayed in that humility place because my mother was such a wonderful, humble woman. She wasn't boastful and pride. And that's where I learned it at. And I learned that humility wasn't weak. Humility was strength, and I think being able to walk with the humility, even though I was going through some really trials and tribulations, I think that brought me to the place where I'm at today, and been able to come the man that I have been able to come because of that, because of not losing it over that when all of the notoriety and attention was focused around me. I could have easily fell into that, but I didn't fall into that. And I just took it in stride and walked in humility, and it brought me to this place I am today.
Wow. She sounds like a special person. You talk about, you talk about your career and the persistence and the commitment and the hard work, but she stuck to you in a bit of a different way. and sounds like she had an amazing influence on your life. What about outside? What about mentors along the way? We really encourage the young adults at Hope Builders to find a mentor or two, and I'm sure you had a couple along the way.
Well, I did, and it's great that you mentioned that, Tim. Think about it. That's so important for these young people to have along the way that they go. And when I look back on it, I think about all the coaches that came into my life that was like father figures to me. I think, playing high school basketball, and, I remember my coaches, if you got in trouble during the day, you wouldn't practice, you wouldn't play in the game, you'll run suicides all day. So there was some discipline there, that I started to learn, through coaches, and they were disciplining you to show you that, you must understand, I'm just bringing this discipline to you so you can learn to stop making those mistakes. And I think that's what's so important in a program like this, for kids to be able to have someone that's mentoring them and is right there with them to really show them that you don't have to make these mistakes. You can go in a different direction. And all my coaches that were in my life played that role in my life. And I'm so grateful that I know that they played that role in my life, because all that played a big part of me being successful. Everything that I achieved had to do with a lot of people that were around me. It wasn't just me. I mean, I had the talent, and a lot of us will have the talent. Young people have tremendous talent today, but the people that you have around you that's trying to help you and guide you are going to be the main factors that's going to make a difference in how far you go in your journey of greatness.
So 2 quick questions before we close out this session and move on to Eddie. So we talk a lot in our classroom about the students teaching each other as teammates. Can you share any advice around your perspective on that?
Yeah, that's teammates. Playing ball, teammates are important. You need each other, and it's about students being together. You need each other, and I think that's the most important thing that young people have to learn about themselves. We can't do this alone in life. We can't win a ball game. I mean, I can win a ball game by myself, with a swing, but everybody else in that ball game has played a part for us to be at that point. And I think that's what young people have to know as being a team. You have to play together. There's no I in team. I don't think it will ever be an I in team. So we have to understand the concept of team. And I think that's so important for young people to be able to understand, that's working together, and we're working together as a team. It's not about it's about everybody brings a part to the table, and when the pieces get put together, it fits good, and that's what brings a team to be a championship team. And I think I was able to do that so many times because we didn't care about one person, we cared about each other, and we did it together.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. One last question before we move forward. What was your favorite home run?
I don't know. I mean, I've had some pretty good ones. I mean, I hit one off the clock in St. Louis in 1985 that we ended up winning a 1-0 ball game. But I think the real favorite home run had to be off of Nolan Ryan in the playoffs. He was throwing a 1-0 shutout in 1986 at Shea, and he threw me a fastball down and in. It was about 96, and I turned on it and hit it right down the right field line, and it stayed fair. And I just, after seeing the video so many times, I didn't see it before, but after seeing the video so many times and looking at Nolan Ryan, making sure that I was running around the bases and I wasn't hot dogging it was something to see, and that reminds me how good he really was and what kind of pitcher he was. And I think a lot of people don't recognize who Nolan Ryan is. I mean, a lot of young people don't, but we do. But he was one of the best in the business to ever do it. And for me to get a home run off of him in a ball game, he was throwing a 1-0 shutout in the playoffs. That was probably my best home run.
Oh, that's a great story. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for sharing the before, the during, and the after. Your story is a true inspiration, and I'm convinced for all of those that have tuned in today, is going to make a big difference. So next up, we have Eddie Lopez, and currently Eddie is a construction trainee at Hope Builders. He has graciously agreed to share how the program has given him the tools and support to transform his life. We do have a saying inside Hope Builders, and certainly everybody that's tuned in today can help support this, but we have a saying, once a hope builder, always a hope builder. Our goal is that Eddie and others, when they graduate from the program, they'll graduate with a badge of honor and a set of skills and training that'll carry them forward and mean something as they build out their careers. So Eddie, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Alrighty, well, my name's Eduardo Lopez, but everybody calls me Eddie. And I want to thank you, everybody, for giving me the opportunity to share my story. I grew up in a rough neighborhood on 4th and Grand in Santa Ana. Started walking to school young. I think since kindergarten, I would walk to school alone. I would see a lot of people wearing baggy clothes, tattoos on their faces, graffiti on the walls. So I kind of got used to that. Kind of like, they felt normal to me. Made me think that that's what I wanted too. And I was only in 1st grade roaming around the streets till like 8, 9, sometimes even 10 at night, hiding from my mom. Sometimes she'll go looking for me in my friend's house with the friends she thought I had. And I'll be somewhere else, hiding. And that was every day, Monday through Friday. Weekends would be worse. And I was just only in the 1st grade, always out in the streets. When I was in 3rd grade, I got expelled from Santa Ana district because I was being pretty bad. So that caused my family to move to Anaheim for me to go to school in Anaheim. When I moved to Anaheim around that time, my dad got deported. When my dad got deported, that just caused me even more to be more rebellion. He lost his money. He was really never there because he was always at work. But him getting deported just basically did it for me. I became more rebellion. When I was in school, I would see other kids with brand new shoes, new clothes, and unfortunately for me, we had no money, so I wouldn't have new clothes. I had to stay. We moved from a 3-bedroom nice apartment to a 1-room renting at random strangers. Me, my mom, my 2 sisters, and my brother. So we were pretty crowded, and I wouldn't want to be home. We had roaches. We would have to eat beans and rice every day. So I started going out more and just staying in the streets. I caused my mom a lot of hurt because she would wonder, where is my son? I wouldn't come home sometimes at night. So when I was in 6th grade, I started smoking weed and drinking alcohol every single day. I would ditch sometimes. Eventually I started just ditching every day. I would lie to my mom and be like, oh, they must have not wrote me down they must have missed me, but I was there in school, I promise. And she'll be like, well, the principal called me again saying you didn't go to school today. And I'm like, well, I promise I was at school. By the time I was in 8th grade, I got expelled from Anaheim School District. I had to go to continuation school. It's called Access. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that one, but I was going to Access and it was only for 4 hours a day. And I loved it. I'm like, yes, less school for me. Continue drinking, smoking every single day. And eventually I just stopped. I just dropped out of school, completely. I stopped going to school. When I was 15, I got a DUI, and I was in San Diego, and I got a DUI, and I had a girl pregnant. She wasn't my girlfriend. We were just friends, and she ended up getting pregnant by me. And when I was in juvenile hall, I really didn't really care, honestly. I knew I was having a kid, but I was young, and all I wanted to do was, when I was in juvenile hall, I would think, I want to get out and drink and smoke. I can't wait to get out to drink and smoke. So I did. I got out, and I still wasn't there for my daughter. My daughter's born now, and still behaving bad, still drinking, smoking every day in the streets with my friends. And so that would cost me to be in and out of juvenile hall because I was on probation. So I would have violated my probation. I would be in and out of juvenile hall. And then around when I was 17, I because I got a bigger case, so I did a little bit more time in juvenile hall. I was looking at bigger time. So I started telling myself, I promise when I get out, I'm gonna do good, or, what everyone says. And I got out and I heard of Orange County Conservation Corps, and I went there. I went to the program. I'm like, well, it's gonna get me on probation. So I finished the program. They helped me get a job. It was through an agency. I mean, they still helped me out a lot because I thought, I changed my way of speaking and I was more respectful, I can say. And I thought I was doing good because I stopped hanging out with the bad people I used to hang out with, bad influences. And I was a bad influence myself as well, but I stopped hanging out with the people I was hanging out with. Started working every day, but I still smoked weed and I would still drink. Fortunately, it led for me getting into trouble again. That put me in prison. Now, when I was in prison, that's when I really snapped out of it. And I realized life is way too beautiful for me to lose my life out there, even though I'm being here, like, life is too precious. I have kids. And by this time now, I have two other kids. I met a girl at Orange County Conservation Corps, and she kind of kept me out of trouble. That's why I thought I was doing right, even though I was still smoking and drinking, working every day, taking care of my kids. So in prison, that's when I really reflected and I started praying about it and said, I promise I will start doing good. It's not, I know I promised you already when I was in juvenile hall that I was going to do good, but this time it's for real. I didn't know what I was going to do exactly, but I knew I was going to change for the better. So when I got out, started working at Home Depot literally like the first week out. And I thought, oh, I'm doing great. I'm working at Home Depot. I'm doing good. I'm not smoking, I'm not drinking. But then because of my record, or since I'm a felon now, they had to let me go after my 4 months were up. Because due to COVID, they hired me as I wasn't permanent until my 4 months was up. They wanted to hire me permanently and I had to do a background check. And they're like, sorry, we have to let you go because of your background. So that really bummed me out. And I was like, man, I'm done. Like I'm 24 years old. I'm a felon. No one's gonna want me. I have tattoos. Like, I kind of wanted to give up, but at the same time, I have 3 kids, and my girlfriend's telling me, no, you gotta go work. So I was working through agencies, and then I reached out to an old friend that I met at OCCC named Serafin Serrano, and he gave me his brother's number, and his brother gave me Miguel Cantu's number, and that's when I called him, and he told me all about Hope Builders. I'm like, what's Hope Builders? He explained it to me. Miguel Cantu explained it to me, what they provide, everything you guys provide. And after he explained it to me, I was like after we hung up the phone, I was like, nah, it's too good to be true. Like there has to be a catch. Like I'm a felon, I don't have I have experience, but not professional experience or even a resume. So I'm just like, it actually took me about a week to actually apply to Hope Builders because I wasn't convinced. It sounded too good. I was like, there's no way that, there's something that I have to have or something because I didn't believe it. Then I started meeting people. That were like, yeah, I went to Hope Builders and I'm an electrician now, or I'm a carpenter and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, so it's real. It's legit. They're like, yeah, bro, you should go check it out. So I already had applied. I was actually waiting for them to call me. And then once I started the program, man, that's when I realized that it was exactly what Miguel Cantu told me. Now I know why Hope Builders is called Hope Builders. They gave me hope. They gave me hope again. They taught me a lot of things there, hands-on, school, Mr. P, Ms. Jewel, Alana, everyone I've met in person and through Zoom. Man, everyone I've met there, it's been amazing. They taught me a lot. I've learned a lot. I learned a little bit of electrical, plumbing, framing, carpentry, and they showed me how to be more responsible financially as well and more respectful, I guess. And they prepared me for the field. I feel more prepared than I was last year. There's no words that I can explain for Hope Builders. The name says it all. Man, Hope Builders, it's amazing. They gave me hope again. And I have nothing bad to say about Hope Builders. I would definitely recommend it to everyone I know, especially if they need it, if they've been through rough times like I have and others. Everything I learned there, I'm gonna keep it in heart and I'll never forget no one. It really changed my life around. So yeah, I want to thank Hope Builders because they gave me another opportunity, and I know my dream. I'm not perfect, but I am happy, and I live in a studio right now with my kids and my girlfriend. Small, but my goals are to become an electrician, eventually become a carpenter, own my own house by the age of 30 or 33, give my kids the life I never had, great Christmas and stuff like that, but also show them to be humble and to earn their prices by doing chores. So I really want to thank you guys so much. You guys really, sorry, you guys really made an impact in my life a lot, and I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I see my future. I don't know where I would have been if I would have never joined Hope Builders, but I know where my future is now. And I want to thank you guys very much.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Your story is truly inspirational, and the hard work and the perseverance and the commitment that you're putting into the program will pay dividends. And I think that after having listened to Daryl's story a little bit, there's a lot of parallels between Eddie, what you're going through, when he went through, and so there's, as Hope Builders promises, there's hope. So thank you so very much for sharing your story and your journey with us tonight. Now, I'm going to turn it over to Shauna, Executive Director for Hope Builders, to introduce today's benefactor, Clark Construction, represented by our long-term board member, Carlos Gonzalez.
Thank you for that introduction, Tim. And I'm just trying to collect myself here because between Daryl's story and Eddie, I had to pull out the tissues there. I just thank you for speaking from your heart and sharing so openly your journey. It is inspiring both to see all that you've accomplished. And I really appreciate both of you, calling out the women in your life who have been there for you and provided guidance and support as a mother and a wife myself. It's powerful to know that the love of our family has a transformative effect as well. So it really is my pleasure and honor to introduce my friend, and as Tim said, a board member, Carlos Gonzalez, who is the Western Regional Division President for Clark Construction. For as long as I've known Clark Construction, which is 20 plus years now, I have witnessed their strong commitment to the community through both the work they do, their projects, and their people. They are truly leaders in the industry, and they appreciate the value of a skilled workforce, and they invest in it. And I think that's been a real perfect marriage for Hope Builders and Clark Construction. Over the course of their involvement with Hope Builders, Clark Construction has helped us raise more than $100 million in industry support over those many years and connected countless young people to careers in construction. And you heard from Eddie just how transformative a job opportunity, especially in the construction industry, can be. So I want to thank you, Carlos, for joining us this evening and for your ongoing support.
Well, thank you very much, Shauna, for the kind words for the organization and for the work that we do. And thank you so much for the work that you do every day to lead Hope Builders. Indeed, I had to really compose myself as I got to listen to a childhood idol. I remember Daryl Strawberry and the Mets having that charge in '86, and to listen to his personal story and his thoughts about finding himself were really, really powerful. And then to just listen to Eddie and tell his story and where he's been and his journey, that is what this is all about, right? That's what it's always been all about for us. I so strongly believe in the mission of Hope Builders, certainly as an opportunity to give back in our community. And that is part of who we are as an organization. And that's why I love being part of Clark, is because it aligns with who I am. A lot of talk about mothers, and my mother played a very important role in my life, and she was always volunteering, and we were active in our church, in our community, and it inculcated in me a sense of obligation to give back. So I believe in doing that. But Hope Builders does so much more than just give us a platform for us to share of what we have been given. It is an opportunity to really make our community stronger. If it was not a charitable organization, Hope Builders should exist just as a way to make our community and our people stronger. And when you can bring those two together, you have something really powerful. For us, it's a core value of who we are. And for me personally, it's been a great opportunity to see human beings like Eddie have this transformational journey. And I am moved by where he's been and where he is. I am moved by thinking that he has found who he is as a man, as Daryl talked about. You get to find out who you are as a human being, and it's not just the actions that you have, but what you really have within you that define you. And Eddie, you now know who you are and what you can be. And what is so inspiring is to think about where you're going to go next, to think about you having that opportunity to join a construction company, and then not only look out for yourself, but be this great role model for your children who will see this journey and will know that I have it in me too, because my father has it in himself. And to think that all of that is possible through the work that Hope Builders does, and that we have the opportunity to put a little grain of sand towards fulfilling this promise is inspiring and moving for me. I have witnessed myself, and I have had some opportunities to see these human beings come and work with us that have transformed their life, and then see them. Some of you may have seen a video before, but to see them come to the company picnic and have other people come over and say, "Boss, how are you?" and have those children look up literally into the sky and see their parent being called out as the leader of others, completely changes the dynamic of not only a person that was homeless, but really a whole generation that can now aspire for more. So we need your help in order to make this real, in order to be able to provide the opportunity for more people like Eddie to transform their lives. We need to have the resources that make this possible. So I ask that you join us in the opportunity to give back and contribute to Hope Builders, because every single contribution can make a difference. Every $1,000 that you contribute means that one more young person who is motivated to turn their life around will have an opportunity to do just that. They will change their life, they will change the life of those around them, and they will become an inspiration for their whole community. This is what we're here for tonight. Please join Clark Construction and our family in making a gift to Hope Builders. Know that it will go to a wonderful cause, and your contribution will multiply exponentially, certainly materially, but more importantly, in the life and the spirit that you will be lifting. Thank you all very much for joining us. This was a wonderful session, and I'll turn it back to Tim. Tim?
Thank you, Carlos, and thank you, Shauna. I'll pile on Carlos's comment about Shauna, thanking you for all of the work you do, leading the team at Hope Builders. And over to you, Carlos, a great big thank you for your many, many years of support for Hope Builders. Okay. It is, the satellite says 5:59. I promised everybody we'd stick to the hour. So I just want to say thank you to everyone. This ends our program for tonight. Honestly, I think we can declare this event the home run. I do encourage you to log on to our website for more information. I encourage you to fund an Amigo. I encourage you to look over our career registry and provide whatever support you possibly can. And plus, please tune in tomorrow and Thursday to hear additional stories about unlocking your greatness. We have a powerhouse lineup in front of us. So goodbye for now.